Oh, nice. Where are you, Jez?
Hey,
I know you're in the van, but where are you?
Melton Mowbray.
Oh, very nice. Have you had a pie?
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
Oh, well. Is Lisa sat across from you?
Yep, I'm here.
It's exciting, isn't it? Wonder what we'll talk about tonight, Lisa.
Oh, all pile on.
Hey, Dooch.
Hello.
Hi, Joe.
All right. How are we both doing?
Yeah, good.
Great.
Ian Melton Mowbray still, Jez, or have you moved on? Or
No, yeah, no, we're still here. We're coming back Thursday tea. Thursday morning, Thursday lunch.
and have you had any pork pies?
Oh, Joe's just sat out. No, we haven't yet. Just had some chili for tea.
First thing I asked him.
Order! Send more house to save the house! Come on, the house!
So, welcome to the Housecast, everybody. It's a bit of an impromptu one on a Tuesday night after the game at Rammy on Sunday. So, I've got myself, obviously, because I'm talking, Joe Martin.
Hiya, Jez.
Joe, you at home? Hiya, Joe, you all right?
I'm in my second home.
All right, that's good. That's good. You look a touch windswept.
I've just been training.
Right. Right. Do you not have a brush?
I'm sweaty more than windswept, Jez. But it's not
Okay,
cold.
then.
It's not quite cold now, but there's a couple of games on at the club. So they must be free.
Yeah.
It's really cold.
Good net. Good training.
Yeah, good fun.
Good.
Always good.
Good.
It just went a bit dark at the end. Bless were whacking cricket balls at me, and some of them I couldn't see. Well, that's what I'm telling myself anyway.
Did you catch them all or not?
I caught some of them,
Good.
which is a fair achievement.
Yeah, it is certainly in the dark. And we've got Dooch. Going to go into Dooch about Sunday's game as a spectator because you were the only one there. Dooch, you okay with that?
Yeah, great, Jez. Yeah, all good.
Good. And then and also fourth 11, and obviously we'll go through the seconds and the thirds as to what's occurred there. As I said, a bit of a last minute impromptu on this. We were definitely going to record this week, but we found tonight was the best night. Gav was only available Monday and Tuesday, and then said, I don't think I can contribute a great deal because Saturday I were out shopping and Sunday I were walking my dog. I told him to come on because he's always good fun, even if he's not watched it, but it doesn't look like he's turning up. Gary's got some jobs at home around moving house, so he might join us, but he might not. But I'm sure us three can make a good go of it. Once again, some good feedback around the Housecast. It's worth telling the spectators we are already planning some winter podcasts, looking at some really old guests. There's a couple of, I don't mean old in age, I just mean go back a few years for Lowerhouse. Looking at there's a couple of pros we've not had on, so I'll make a few emails and Facebook requests, see if we can get them on. We've also got a couple of characters, some ex-players. Ted Whittle has said he wants to come on, but I think that'll be a winter one, a dark winter night in front of a fire. So we are going to keep going through the winter, and we're obviously now the season's coming to a close. We'll continue to do one a week, and it's coming to quite a crescendo. Joe Martin, what's your thoughts on the? Obviously, we won't go into the game on Sunday, which sounded a fantastic game. What's your view as a player and looking towards the Rochdale game and the last few games of the season?
Yeah, it's potentially a very exciting few weeks for the club. All teams are doing extremely well. All the senior teams, and something we don't mention a lot some of the junior teams are in cup finals and going for league titles and stuff. So it's potentially a successful year, and there's just a few weeks left. So hopefully we can finish it off properly.
Yeah. And I think this weekend, if I've worked it out right, I think I've got it at 6 or 7 points. If we get 6 or 7 points on Sunday against Rochdale at home, it doesn't matter what Clitheroe or Littleborough or Darwin to a further extent can do. Is that how you've got it, Dooch?
Yeah, we need 7 more than Clitheroe and Littleborough. No, we need 7 full stop. Yeah, 7 full stop. Yeah. Because we're 42 in front now, and we need to be 49 ahead of next weekend's games. Yeah.
So I'm sure the vast majority of people who listen, the bonus point system, in my view, in the Lancashire League is outstanding. The way that you can get points as a losing side, batting or bowling second. But how exciting would it be if we tied the game on Sunday and Clitheroe and Littleborough got 12 points each? We'd pip it by 1 already. Know what price you'd get for that from Honest John. But yeah, it's quite exciting. So I think let's talk through the Ramsbottom game on Sunday, Dooch. We battered second, and it seemed like, I was watching it from afar, so it'd be interesting to see your view on it. I thought we were really down and out, and we're going to struggle to do it. Frankie's a fantastic player, but what's your view on how certainly our innings went, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about their innings. How did you see that go? You were there watching it throughout?
Oh, I'm glad you've asked about the end of the innings first, because that's obviously the bit that sticks freshest in my mind, and that was one of the points I wanted to make about how the innings sort of developed and what the general feeling was around the ground. I've just been looking at the card now just to see the exact position that we were in. When we lost our 8th wicket, we still needed 100 runs, 8 down. Now, what as an occurrence, 1 in 100, would you say? Would you get home from there? 2 in 100?
I mean, if you stats throughout the league forever, at least I think more than 2 in 100. I think you're probably right near a 1 in 100 when you think of the batting lineup. And also, Dooch, I think it's worth mentioning, you probably were going to go on to it. It wasn't as if there were stacks of overs left.
No, I mean the run rate obviously increased as we got towards the end, but there was it wasn't dire, the situation with the run rate. It wasn't like the Walsden game earlier on in the season when Joe and Paddy got us home, that where the run rate was really small. I think it was around the 5 mark throughout the vast majority of that period. But what I was going to say is, even though we're in such a dire position, the general feeling amongst the Lowerhouse fans, and there was a lot of Lowerhouse fans at Rammy, a lot. And I was walking around pretty much constantly through nerves, I guess. But the vast majority, the feeling amongst the vast majority of Lowerhouse fans were, we still bang in this game. We are still right in this game. And as long as, if Frankie and Paddy can just bat for another 40 minutes, we will be in with a sniff. And that was also the vibe that I got from the Rammy fielders, from listening. And I just thought it's a remarkable sort of testament to what we've done this year, that it looked, if you never watched Lowerhouse before, you would say we were dead and buried at that stage. But the Lowerhouse fans and the Rammy players, it felt like to me, were aware that they were still banging the game, and that's how it turned out, that we very, very nearly got home. There was one spectator who said that he didn't think we had a sniff.
A spectator or a player?
A spectator. He's infamously pessimistic. I mean, we don't even need to say his name. But I walked past him just after the game finished, and he said, "Well, I didn't think we had a chance." But he was the only one out of everybody I spoke to who thought that we weren't really in with a sniff. Everybody else pretty much was saying, we can still do this. We are not favourites by any stretch, but we can still get home from here.
Yeah, we are. We have discussed previously about batting down to the Martin brothers at 10 and 11, of having big runs previously. But you surprised me there that the Rammy players, the Rammy fielders, there was an atmosphere that they knew it wasn't it wasn't done yet, which is worth an extra player sometimes when you think of, certainly with the pro they've got and the quality you can put, and the other amateurs, they've got some good players. They should have killed us there. They should have really killed us. But all credit to Paddy and Frankie for getting us as close as they did. Did we leave it a little bit too late, Dooch? Just a controversial question.
Yeah, look, I think if you're going to be ultra critical, then maybe you could say that, but I don't think that's fair, really. We were eight down.
Yeah.
With only Joe to come, and no offense to Joe, he's not going to score at 10 and over. So I think Paddy and Francois had decided that if we were going to win that game, it would be on them to do the vast majority of it. And me and Blaise were chatting. What were they going to target from the last 5 overs? Could they leave themselves 50 off the last 5, and would that give us a chance? Well, they did leave themselves about that, but then inside that last 5 overs, they were trying. They were really trying to hit the power shots, but the young fielding like JJ bowled a tight spell, and there was just a couple of attempts at sort of big hits that they just didn't connect with. And in the 3 overs to go was a quiet over from memory. The penultimate over, they did hit a couple of boundaries, but by that stage they needed 15s. And then in the last over, Frankie really got hold of the lad who bowled from the football ground end. But no, I don't think they left it too late. I think they were trying to take the game as deep as possible, and unfortunately, they just didn't quite get over the line. But what I also want to talk about, without sounding too soppy, and this probably is going to sound a bit soppy, when I was walking off after the game finished, I didn't feel like, I wasn't gutted, I wasn't disappointed, I wasn't annoyed that we'd lost. I thought, what an effort from 13 for 3 to get 5 batting points to almost pull off one of the greatest escapes that we've probably ever seen. In a league campaign, teams don't win every week. There's no way they win all the games. So what can you do when you don't win? And that was as good as you could possibly get. It will keep the momentum going. No loss of momentum from a performance like that. And the team just showed what they're all about for me.
And again, I know Joe Martin, I want you to come in, and I'm going to take you back to the start of it. That they won the toss and batted. But on that point, Dooch, it's like we've been talking about. It's call it what you want. Enjoyable cricket. The players enjoy it. The spectators enjoy that. We've still got the 5 points again. That is, the benefit of the system that's in place. It's entertaining to watch. I'd like to think the players, albeit a little bit disappointed they didn't get the extra 5 points, have enjoyed it. And as you've alluded to there, and whilst we've only got one professional, they are there to entertain. Those lads are playing to entertain people who are paying to come on and watch. And I don't think anyone looking at that could say that they've gone away and not been entertained. So no, it's a great point, that, Dooch. Joe, so they won the toss, decided to bat, had a fantastic start. 2 good players there, Parton and Fielding, great players. Did our bowling go to plan? Did they get away too quickly? And did we miss any chances in that 150 partnership?
Not really. I think if you speak to Ben, and in fact the majority of the team, we didn't actually get a lot. We didn't get a lot wrong. They batted really well on a good pitch, and it always starts a good pitch at Rammy.
Yeah.
If you win the toss and bat, you've always got a good chance. So I think in that first period, we bowled pretty well.
Yeah.
There were some 4 balls and whatnot, but people kept plugging away. Ben kept changing the bowling to try and make something happen. And we did actually kind of slow them down a little bit. I think at one point they were looking towards 300, maybe even more than that. So I think from where they were to get them to 245 was a pretty good effort, actually.
We just dropped one catch, didn't
Yeah,
we?
and
Yeah, I think we dropped one catch. I also had a half chance, I think, off Francois stood up. So yeah, we dropped one catch, and but it didn't really cost that much in the end. Probably 15 or so.
and I could see working out. Just looking at scorecards as the game's going on. They potentially could have got 300. I think the way that they started, some of the batting, some of the the batters that can come after Parton and Fielding, pushing 300, and then it's a big score. I know it's a big ground. The pitch is a really good pitch, but it does maybe deteriorate a touch as the day goes on. So I think what you're alluding to there, Joe, is that we did a great job to keep it under 250. No other real scores after the two openers, the 150 partnership there. But I think it's worth a mention. Tom York Robinson, an ex-Lowerhouser that decided to leave us and go and play at Ramsbottom to get more first team cricket. A great youngster at the club, Joe Martin. No animosity there. He batted well and gets his runner ball 27. Played well.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely no animosity at all. He's a really nice lad, good lad. I like him a lot. But yeah, no, I think his partnership with Brad Fielding was quite important. Actually, I think it probably took them from getting 230, 235 to pushing up to close to 250.
Yeah.
And I think that probably when we went into those last 4 or 5 overs, we had a little bit of momentum. We bowled really well, and I think that small partnership, where they hit some sixes and some boundaries, probably just took the momentum in their favour a little bit. So yeah, no, I think they played really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yes.
Where they were going to
that. 44 off, in no time, really, didn't they, towards the end? So I suppose it has swung it round a little bit after, we've got the pro and Caton that their wicket keeper is a good player. So it swung it back in their favour a little bit. Your brother again, 3 wickets. George, Paddy bowled well?
Yeah, I think he bowled really well. Yeah, Paddy bowled well. Again, not easy. Wasn't turning a great deal. I think actually Paddy's natural pace on that wicket maybe nullified the turn a little bit. When you bowled slower, it was harder to hit, but probably took away that wicket-taking potential. So I think when he came back on for his second spell, I think he got his pace right and adjusted to the wicket and bowled well. In that second spell. He did bowl well in the first one. He was a little bit unlucky, I think.
Yeah.
Whilst there were no chances that went down, there was potential to take wickets, and they just didn't quite fall.
Yeah, and another 3 wickets for him, and Dan 2 for 55. It's all tidy bowling there, and as you said, Ben kept swapping it around quite a bit. Going into bat, Joe, and don't give any secrets away that you don't want to give away. You had a plan for their pro. Did you talk about that as a batting unit? Von Berg's bowled, he's an experienced player.
There wasn't really a plan for targeting particular bowlers or anything like that. It was the thing that we've done all year where we've got to be positive, I think. I mean, when as Joe said, we were 13 for 3, and even though we were 13 for 3, maybe 5 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, when you get to 13 for 3, you kind of send somebody like me in to try and eat up a few overs and then try and get a little bit closer later in the innings. But they kept going. Birdie, who opened the bowling and bowled so well in the World Cup final the week before, they kept going at him and kept attacking him, hitting him for quite a few sixes. And these figures, they were probably polar opposites to the World Cup final relative to that innings. And Dan and Tom Walker and then Francois and co really really put pressure on him. And
yeah, Joe Martin, I was just going to say, if we, the start that we had, it'd be interesting just to talk about the start, Dooch. You were there for it. 2 openers didn't, 6 and 4, and then Henry gets out. What were your take early on?
Before we talk about that, I just need to say I was aware of a plan for a bowler, and I wasn't even playing.
Yeah, well, I was as well, but I'm just trying to give a holistic view of the innings.
Yeah, I think you were trying to be too secretive there, Joe Martin.
That said, I don't want to. You don't have to give a plan away, so I wasn't doing. I was giving a general answer to a general question.
But we always have plans. We've always got thoughts and discuss the opposition bowlers. So your thoughts early on, Dooch? Ben's out LBW, and then Johnny gets out. What? We don't panic anymore at Lowerhouse. We have belief. What was your view in those first 5 or 10 overs when we're 13 for 3?
Well, look, I'm not going to lie and say I'm still brimming with confidence at that point because obviously you're not. Dan and Tom Walker had a partnership that gets us back into the game, which we desperately needed at that stage. But before that, you are fearing the worst a little bit after Ben and Johnny and Henry. Ben and Johnny particularly, who've scored so many runs this year, are both back in the shed without many on the board. But Dan and Tom Walker played a little gem of a partnership there, and were going great. When Tom was at LBW. But look, the batters keep coming. Frankie at 6, ex-professional, Gansler, Cotton, Toxic, Paddy. Joe literally bat all the way down. I do think we missed Hawke in the first innings.
Yeah.
I think he's a crucial part of our bowling lineup, and unfortunately, he wasn't available on Sunday. Teams you've got to cope with that. And I thought Ben shuffled his bowlers very, very well. Yeah, back to your question. When we're 13 for 3, how did I feel? Not great, obviously.
Yeah, and then as you said, Tom and Dan pull it round. Not at a spectacular rate, but they're going well enough. The way that's that partnership developed, and then they've put 50 on. Frankie comes in and he starts quite slowly with batting with Dan. What's your thoughts there, Joe Martin? The run rate was, and I know what you're saying, Dooch. It never really got above 5, but it was getting close to 5 where the wicket's not improving. And whilst we've got quality batters, the run rate needs to be kept maintained. What was the thoughts in the dressing room then, Joe? With you've got Gansler and Charlie Cottam and Tox. Still confident?
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, one of the things that Paul Stanley said was that if Francois was there at the end, we'll be in with a chance of winning.
Yeah.
And that was when Dan. That was when Dan, Tom Walker, and Gansler were out. So Charlie Cotton, Toxic, Paddy, and me left. So Francois is an unbelievable cricketer. He's still remarkable when he bats. He completely understands how to pace an innings. He plays spin fantastically well. And what an asset to have coming in at number 6 to sort of marshal a game when wickets are falling. It's not easy. Bowlers are bowling well. Francois batted exceptionally well, unbelievably well. And
I don't remember him trying too many reverse sweeps on Sunday, Joe. Do you remember seeing any?
No, I think there were no, not really. I think there might have been one, maybe not even that. No, I think he's always been great at assessing situations in a game, and I think he was doing that on Sunday to keep us in with a shout at every point. So he batted magnificently well. and then so did Pat when he came in. He batted extremely well again, and coming in at number 10, I can't really think of probably a better number 10 that's
Ever.
Ever in the world. Just go back to Charlie Gansler, Charlie Cottam and Toxey. Did any of them actually, did they get in? I know it's 9 off 11, 15 off 23, 4 off 15. Did they get in with Frankie? Did they?
I think Charlie Cottam did. Charlie Gansler hit a big 6 and was caught, and then the following over was caught. Trying to hit the pro. I think Toxey was stumped in the end.
He was. Yeah.
Possibly wasn't as fluent as he has been, but it wasn't easy at that point. 2 spinners on, turning quite a bit, and he tried to move the game forward again, which is what you want to do. But Charlie Cottam did. He batted extremely well when he came in, and he was really unlucky. He was really unlucky when he was out. There was a new bowler on, and it was a long hop that kind of top edge to be caught, and it was one of those balls where if that's third ball of the over, he hits that for 6.
Yeah.
But it's the first ball of a new bowler. Probably surprises you a bit, doesn't it? I think Charlie did get going and batted well. It's a brilliant pull shot through sort of wide mid wicket, if that's a position.
And again, bit of possibly a prickly subject, Joe Martin, but we can have a discussion. Charlie Gansler going for that 6 after he's already hit the 6 the over before. Is that something that is encouraged? I've got my own views, which I will express. What's your feelings, and what's feelings of the players?
So we back him. We back him to do it. And the reason for it is he's out there taking a positive option. To try and change something that the bowler's doing. Whether that changes his pace, changes his line, or even they take him off or whatever. He could equally be out, prodding, defending, prodding a ball and edging it to slip, or being out LBW, or chipping one to extra cover. I'm very, very keen on him taking that positive option to try and move the game on.
I agree with you, but my point would be that Charlie has that license to play because of you and Paddy and the way that we've got a 10 and 11. If it was me, Paul Stansfield and Johnny Russell at 9, 10, 11, then he might have to have a different option as to we're going to be bowled out here with 5 overs left. So
good point, that, Jez. I never thought of it like that, but that's a great point.
It's something I try and get across to people, who whinge and moan around the ground when I'm there, that, he wouldn't play like that if he didn't have the face that he's got. And if he comes off twice a season, he came off in the Worsley Cup final, last year, and if it doesn't matter, he comes off, it takes the game away from them, and we still bat in depth, and we still got a chance of getting there. So it's almost like 2 bites of the cherry. So, I have big belief in the way that you play, the big belief in what Dan's doing with the lads, whilst you've got the players that you've got in the batting positions that you've got. So in the dressing room, Joe, you've got your pads on. Were you pacing up and down at this stage, or you don't move from one position?
No, I don't move from. So as you know, Jez, I'm an avid walker. I think I only did. I think I might have only done 1 lap on Sunday, and then I just sat with the team, which is a very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
No, I was very nervous. I always am a bit nervous when you're getting ready to bat, and then those nerves kind of go away when you go out there, I think, which is interesting. No, I mean when Francois and Pat were in and they're batting so well, my kind of thought changed to, okay, I'm not trying to lengthen this game anymore. I'm trying to get points. So how am I going to get us to within 50. So if I have to go in now, how are we going to get to needing 50? How are we going to get to needing 40? Rather than going to kind of like disaster stations when when we still needed 100. When Paddy went in, as Joe said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was nervous, and obviously you want to get as close as possible. But yeah, that was what I was thinking at the time.
And they need, as I think Duke said earlier, 146 for 8, needing 99. We fall 3 short. So it's an outstanding effort. And I've, as I said, I was watching it, and I don't know what your thoughts were, Dooch. When it gets down to last 2 or 3 hours, and as long as Paddy can hit a big ball as well, but if Frankie's still there and Paddy gets out, Joe's intelligent enough to get Frankie on that strike, and you just need those big sixes. You need that 20 off 1 over in the last 6. It can be game over. Did you were not concerned about Joe Martin coming in, obviously, Dukes, but were you at any stage thinking we need to do this a bit sooner so there's not more pressure on Joe, or were you comfortable with it? I know that's a similar question to earlier. What I'm alluding to is you were comfortable with Joe Martin coming in at 11 as well.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm not going to pretend that I would have backed Joe to be smacking him back over the balls head for 6 and what have you.
Bombs if I need to.
I'd have had him playing the the get off strike role to get one of the other lads back on. That's what I'd have been expecting of Joe.
Yeah.
There was two bits of fielding in the last 2 overs from the Rammy lads that probably swayed the game in their favour. In the penultimate over, Tommy Oak Robinson made a diving stop down in front of the tea room that saved 2. I think Paddy hit that one and it was going for 4. It looked like I had 4 written all over it, and Tom's like full length dive and dragged it back in, and they only got 2. And then in the next over, Frankie's hit one up to the boundary in front of the river, and JJ Fielding's pulled off an absolute worldie, and they only got 1. So that's what 3, 4, 5 runs saved there that didn't look like they were going to get anywhere near.
Yeah, which is fantastic in a game, where there's nearly 500 runs scored. There's 3, 4, 5 great performances by different individuals, but it just shows what cricket can do. That just a change, in the fielding, a fantastic effort, good catch, great stumping, it can change it all. So
yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
I know you don't really like talking about the opposition too much, but we've seen Rammy twice now. We've played them twice. We've obviously followed the cup final, and they've won the Worsley Cup. Why do you think they're as low down in the table as what they are?
Yeah, I honestly don't really know. I think they've got probably one of the strongest batting lineups in the league. I agree.
I think it's probably only second to ours.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. They've got similar opening partnership who score a lot of runs, really positive, good pro. Ben Pearson scores a lot of runs batting at 3. Harry Caton is a fantastic batter as well. Possibly they might be missing one bowler, maybe. So
bowling depth, you think?
That might be a thing. And they've just had some really odd results as well. I mean, they scored 245 against us, but they've also been bowled out for 60. Or less than 100. So probably, a kind of amalgamation of those things.
Yeah, they look like quite a young side as well. I mean, I don't know all the players, but I know a good chunk of them, and they do look like quite a young side. Maybe they'll be a team to watch out for in the next coming seasons.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think quite a few people kind of tip them to be, kind of contenders for the league, and obviously they won the Worsley Cup, which is a great achievement. So yeah, I think that they'll have a good chance if they keep the team together and keep going, because they are young, or younger than me anyway.
Yes, they are. They're a good side, and let's see what happens. But again, Dooch, I mean, the other answer for it is it's such a strong league I know Middleton has struggled certainly this last half. But Rochdale are a decent side, and they're down there. Burnley are down there. Third or fourth from the bottom, and Rami are down there. It's a strong league. Teams can beat other teams, and maybe the opening battle of JJ Fielding. I think the first year he got, certainly in the second division, got nearly 1,000 runs. If he did get 1,000 runs, and maybe he hasn't got as many as he anticipated. But yeah, no, I agree. A fantastic side. Let's have a look at the second team, because the second team go marching on, playing Bacup at home at weekend on Sunday. Bacup won the toss and battered 186 off their allocated overs. I'll come to you two just to see if you got any feedback, because I know neither of you watched the game. If you got any feedback from it, from anyone. Yanis 21 for 1 off 7. Charlie Bissell's got 3 wickets again, and Keegan got 4 wickets. Looks like a good bowling performance, 186. And then we've knocked them off at a canter by the look at it. A great partnership between Will Norcross, 69 off 85 balls. I'll take Will, pushing up now 600 runs. And again, Keegan rounding off a good all-round performance with 66 off 46 balls. Any feedback from either of you two, from any of their players, or when you went back down the club?
I mean, to me, it was another great performance by the second team. I think that on a day like Sunday, with the weather as it was and the ground at Lowerhouse how it was, it's a very, very fast scoring ground. If you get it past the infield, it'll just run away for 4. So it looks to me like they bowled extremely well, nice and really tight, and then just kind of won it at a canter. I mean, it's great to see, Will and Keegan bat so well again. They've been really consistent this year, and they've just sort of kept that going. And they keep putting the second team in great positions to keep winning games.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably 40 odd clear now of third place. So I think they've got a real chance of securing promotion this weekend. And hopefully they can carry on and win the league too.
Yeah, 130 odd partnership from those two. So well done to those two. So you putting your neck on the line, Joe. You think that we're going to get promoted, the second team, do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Dare you look at their league table? Is it just the first league table that you don't look at?
I've looked at their league table, the developmental.
Right. I just have to say that I spoke to somebody very close to you, who also plays in the first team, and he says he thinks that's nonsense about you not looking at a league table.
It's genuinely true.
I'll just tell you what he said. Anyway, I spoke to Declan after the game, and he had just a couple of bits that he wanted to share with the podcast listeners. He said that he thought Will and Keegan were superb. He said that isn't it funny how Charlie Bithell tries much harder when his fan club's watching? Don't really know what he's getting at there.
No.
And he said Joel and Jack Sim are clowns.
Well, yeah, it probably has a point with the latter, and you can't add anything else. That was just what was.
That was what he asked me to relay. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Let's see what they come back with. So well done, second 11. Fantastic performance. Dooch, I believe you were down on Saturday watching. Was it the fourth?
Yes. I went down.
Talk us through that game.
Yeah, I went down to watch a bit of the fourths and a bit of the footy. Burnley. The football was on in the bar, so I watched a bit of that and then watched the fourths. But I quickly sacked the footy off and just concentrated on the cricket. Matt Marquis was down, and Joe was obviously there, and one or two others. And what a great game! Fantastic game of cricket to watch. I know we've mentioned him a few times on here, but Pinky's doing a remarkable job with that team. It's basically Pinky, Shabazz, and then a load of 13-year-olds, and they're coming up against teams who have got players who are much bigger and much older in a lot of cases. And we bowled first in the first half. Some of the bowlers were getting a bit of tap from some of the older lads from Ake. A few agricultural shots being played, as you can imagine. And I think it's safe to say that some of our lot who watch the Force much more regularly than I do didn't really give us much of a chance at half time. The feeling was that Ake had got too many, and we probably didn't have much of a chance with such a young side. And how wrong they proved to be. We chased it down, albeit we were 9 wickets down, but some great performances in the second innings. Logan Howarth opened the batting. He made 47. Pinky himself looked like he was steering his own, 46, and got out, really close to the end, leaving the last pair of Josh Nelson and Hassan Sadakat to get us over the line. But it was a great game. Won it with 9 wickets down and a really, really good performance.
We should ask Jez, Joe. Jez, have you ever won a game of cricket on a no ball? So scores are tied, Jez. Scores are tied.
Yeah.
They're bowling, obviously.
Yeah.
Bowl it.
2.5 overs left.
2.5 overs left.
Yeah.
Not ball. And then the umpire, no ball. Front foot, no ball. I think the only no ball in the innings.
And we were 9 down.
And we were 9
down.
We were 9 down. Yeah.
So we were going to get, you would, it's highly likely we were going to get the score if they had to bowl us out. And there's a no ball being caught. No, I don't think that's ever happened in any games I've played in.
Remarkable, really.
Remarkable. We couldn't really believe it, could we, Joe, when we were sat?
No, we were staggered, really. But
what a win!
But look, they deserve to win. They deserve to win. They sort of chased that big score of 197 in 40 overs.
Yeah.
On a ground that hadn't been roped in that much. The boundaries hadn't been dragged in much. I thought it was great. It was a great watch, and we're dead chuffed that they got over the line.
Pinky hitting some beautiful shots over extra cover. Really lovely, and hitting straight as well. And Logan Howard batted brilliantly. Unlucky not to get a 50. But yeah, as Joe said, brilliant. Great to watch. It was a really good game.
There's probably not enough credit given. I know we talk about Stan and we talk about the coaches and the really junior cricket. The likes of Pinky and other people that are keeping the third and fourth team not only alive, but people are enjoying the cricket. Just like they are in the first and second team. So a big shout out to those volunteers that are helping out as much as they are. And I promise, the end is. Certainly after maybe this weekend, if things go our way, then we've got a couple of weekends of cricket where we can have podcasts and we can bring these people in. Let's get them into the podcast. Let's talk about the thirds and the fourths. Let the parents listen to how well their kids have been doing in the games, because it's my understanding, Dooch, as well, that they do get good crowds on as well, don't they? Certainly at home.
Yeah, there were plenty there on Saturday. Plenty there.
Yeah. Yeah, and what those players, and you'll know this better than anyone, Joe Martin, because of your coaching abilities that you do, those players will learn so much in games like that that the coaching can't replace, and the experience, the enjoyment within the game, and having all these people watching them. So it's as good as the first and second team. What's going on down there?
Definitely.
So. Anything else on cricket? I've just got a couple more points. I want to go through the Housecast predictor point game, and then also a little issue. There were a few second teamers out at weekend, or it might have been Friday or Saturday. Is there anything else around cricket from you two?
Tom Walker,
yeah, please. Dooch, if you just Have you got many details of the actual game? I couldn't find any when I was looking.
No, there's no scorecard anywhere, but I just messaged him earlier just to get his bowling figures, and he didn't even know what they were. So he doesn't even know what his figures are, but he did say he got 4 wickets and he thinks he went for about 30. So we'll say 4 for 30 for Lancashire seconds against Zimbabwe A. Zimbabwe
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team. Does either of you know how the call up came about? So for the listeners, Tom Walker, great cricketer for us, came and joined us from Accrington to play in the first division and has developed leaps and bounds. Played in Australia a little bit and has come back. Got some real pace about him. Can bat. He seriously can bat. Maybe some of the scores this year have not shown as much, but we have seen a ton down at Burnley and, in a fantastic 50 the weekend before last. And he gets a call up to Lancashire seconds, which really is quite unheard of within not just Lancashire League, but at Lowerhouse. Does either of you two know how that came about?
No.
All right, we maybe need to find that out for the next one, because I get the impression it's not been planned for weeks and weeks. So whether there's some injuries to their squad, and obviously Chris Bembo, our ex-amateur who played at Lowerhouse for a lot of years, is on the staff at Lancs Cricket and looks after.
And Danny's as well.
Yeah, and Dan's there as well, so I'm sure that would have had So what are your views on his selection? As I've given mine, I think it's quite extraordinary that there isn't more Lancashire League players. And obviously James Anderson went on from being 16-year-old. He was targeted that he was going to be a first-class cricketer. But there's not many others within Lancashire League over decades where there's been a lot more in other leagues. Any views on that?
Not really.
Silence is golden.
Well, look, obviously they don't. Lancashire, the people who make the decisions at Lancashire don't see the value in the Lancashire League the same way that we do, and they maybe look elsewhere because we've had some fantastic players in the league. So they're obviously not. They're obviously don't really have their eye on the Lancashire League. Well, maybe they do now, but they certainly didn't. They didn't previously. Or that's the way it seems, anyway.
I've watched Lancashire quite a bit over the last 3 years, but they cannot say that we've got enough quality, we've got enough junior quality coming through. They can't say that. The likes of Tom, and we can only talk about Tom because he's our player, who are in that, that age group of 18, 19, 20, 21. They should be given more chances, in my view. I think they look too much at the Liverpool comp and the Northern Leagues and their excuses at times. I'm saying I don't know who they are, but some of the excuses I've heard are the pitches. The pitches are a lot firmer near the coast at St Anne's and places like that, and at Blackpool, and that's why they don't really look in the Lancashire League. But I'm sure it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. But let's hope Tom maintains that role within the second 11 at Lancs for the rest of the season and can go on, and who knows what could happen at in close season. Just my views. Anyone else out there who's got any others, send us messages and we'll discuss it.
Yes, do you think the change in the league structure might have changed the attitude towards Lancashire League? And do you think that if you're a young player playing in the second division, that might lead you to move clubs easier than what it would have done in the past? I know you don't really like players moving clubs, but do you not think that adds an extra layer of sort of legitimacy to moving clubs now?
I do. So the 2 points you make there, dude. So you're saying that because we've now got 2 leagues, I think we all accept that the amateurs are stronger or more organised or more, that is better for us to get people to go and play at county. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, possibly. It might just make them a more attractive proposition to Lancashire and other counties.
Yeah, I agree. A great point. I think it probably does. I think, and whilst it's only in name, there is no two ways about it. Being a Premier League now, elevates the clubs throughout the country. Premier Leagues are the only one that real counties look at. So now Premier League has got to help, and it might be that they do start watching, or they are already looking at players, and we don't see it. As far as your last point goes, myself and you, Dooch, played when there was no relegations. It was one league, and that's the way it was. It is unfortunate that players in the second division, and we're talking about Tom Walker, so let's use that as an example. Playing at Accrington didn't look like they were going to get promoted as he was when he was playing as a 16, 17, 18-year-old, so wanted to move and play in, which is significantly better standard. Now, that's probably very disappointing for the teams in the second division to listen to, but the teams in the first division, they will attract those sorts of players, and that's life, isn't it? That's, whilst you can compare it with professional football, and we aren't professionals, it is a very, very good amateur standard, and people want to play at the best cricket. It's a difficult one, dude. What would you do? You're in Lowerhouse first team, doing really well as a mid-20s and scoring loads and loads of runs, but Lowerhouse are never going to get promoted, and another club coming for you. What would you have done?
I don't think I was ever
A club?
ambitious enough, good enough, or any of those things to be. It's probably a bad example. That I tell you, a better example would be someone like Paddy, who has been a stellar player for a long period of time. And if he was stuck in a second division club, if we say we go back 35, 40 years, and Paddy was stuck in a side, or Blaze or whatever, was stuck in a second division side, and they were being coveted by other clubs in the top division. But we might have lost some of those players. Yourself, I know you did get approached by other clubs, but that I'm sure if we'd have been in a 2-division situation like we are now, that would have been a lot more prevalent, and clubs would have been actively coming for you and Blaze and maybe Stan, and we might have suffered on the back of that. And now we're the boots on the other foot, and we're perhaps not as susceptible to it, but other clubs are.
Yeah, and it's sad in some ways, but it is giving the better players are going to the clubs that are more successful, but it's having a knock-on effect down in the second division. I know it's very difficult for you to comment on it, Joe. Your thoughts. You're playing in the middle of the table, middle of the second division, Lowerhouse. You're batting in the top 4, and there's only you getting runs. Would you leave Lowerhouse?
Well, I wouldn't. I've got no reason to. But I think it depends what you're trying to achieve. I've only ever thought about one cricket club, but for other people, it's slightly different. They want to experience playing at different levels, playing at different places, and we've seen that from with players in our first team. Johnny's been professional at a few different clubs, and also played in the Liverpool comp and had a season there. Ben's pro'd, Hawkey's pro'd. So I think it just depends on what you want to achieve. I can only speak, personally, and I've only ever really cared about Lowerhouse, and that's because of the kind of community, and it's not just about playing in the first team; it's everything else that comes with it. For me, anyway.
It's a difficult question. It's difficult questions because we weren't in that era, were we? And my dad wouldn't have pushed me to go and play anywhere else, and I know Graham won't be pushing you to go and play anywhere else. But if we're in the city, who knows? But it's a great debate, and if anyone's got any questions around it, then please wing them our way, and we'll try and answer them. But well done, Tom. A great effort there. Let's hope it develops into a few more games before the end of the season. Right, Housecast predictor points.
Jez walks in with a grin so wide. He's got a clipboard and rules that hide. 12 points a win, or maybe it's 8.
So if we remember, this was invented when we were trying to work out how many points we would need and when we would get them to win the league, because Martin, who is still, I think, doubtful, and we created this point predictor. If you remember, the first week, Paul Stanley did fantastically well, got 8 points. So the least points you get, the better you've done. So, for example, I suggested Lowerhouse were going to get 10 points on Sunday, and they only got 5, so I get 5 points. If I'd have said 5 points, I would have got no points. So the least points you get, the better. Stanley won the first week. Blaise came second, Chippy third. So in the second week that we've just done, Nicky Holt won by only getting 9 points. But Blaise also came fourth by only getting 16 points. So whilst it seems to be waffling on and people maybe don't understand it, the bottom line is that that Frank Entis, Pete Atherley's bottom on 22. He's 22nd with 94 points. Joe Martin wouldn't join because he thought it was a conflict. And Stan and Johnny Russell are now second overall with Blaise top on 26 points. So we'll have to see. I don't know what people think. Give us a shout for next year. We're thinking of running it next year with maybe some monetary value over the season. Dooch, I know Joe Martin can't, but Dooch, you got 33 points in the in week 17, and then 22 points in week 18. So you're 11th.
You're getting better.
I'm afraid, which is not great, really.
No, did you say Johnny and Stan got the same points this week?
Johnny Muscle got 13 and Stan got 13, yeah.
Yeah, it could be collusion there with them two. They're big buddies, them two. They could be colluding and working out what to guess. Just keep your eye on that,
Yeah,
Jez, going forward.
I will. I didn't think of that. Yeah, they could be when they're out having a pint. Yeah, they are very similar, and the points they predicted are very, very similar. So I will. I'll keep my eye out on that. So
Johnny
that's
was
the
there
points
on the
predictor.
Sunday, by
As
the
I
way.
said, no, was he brilliant? Seen him
Yeah.
for a bit.
And
we had some good
Ed
text
McCulloch was
messages.
there as well.
No way.
But
Gav
Gav wasn't. Gav
for
wasn't, though.
donkeys.
I mean, the people coming from all over Lancashire and beyond, but Gav couldn't get there.
Well, I think my final point before we conclude this episode, there's been a few messages come in on social media about Gav's had a problem at the weekend with he's gone out for a few pints with some young lads and ends up getting loads of blisters because of his new trainers and has to hobble out of the pub and get a taxi home on his own because of his blisters were hurting him. So I hope your blisters are getting better, Gav. I hope it works out okay for you because they look horrendous on this video that someone sent me. So I have nothing else to add. I'll just come round to you two if we can just talk. If there's anything else you want to add around cricket or anything else I've forgot. I've enjoyed this tonight, just the three of us for an hour. Dooch, anything before we close it off?
No, obviously looking forward to Sunday, bank holiday weekend, potential league clinching game on Sunday. Joe, I don't know if you know, Joe, but we can actually win the league on Sunday. I know you've not looked at the table, but so yeah, just really looking forward to that. And obviously there'll be plenty of people there, and there'll be a few bevies being consumed, I would imagine, with it being a bank holiday.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, good point that, because this will go out before then. So it's Rochdale at home, 12:30 start on Sunday. Get yourself down, support the lads, and we can celebrate hopefully with them after the game. If not, it'll go on to the week after. Joe Martin, anything you want to finish up on?
No, just they're always difficult games against Rochdale, so we've got to make sure that we play well. So yeah, are you going to be there on Sunday, Jez?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm coming. Chippy's coming over. We're going to come down in vans, and I think we're going to stop over. Maybe have some breakfast and stop over.
Very nice.
Super. I wonder if Gav will be there.
Depends on his blisters, I think. So, everyone, thanks ever so much for listening. We will be doing a podcast next week. We'll hopefully get this out before the Rochdale game. So, thanks everyone for listening, and keep subscribing and whatever else you do. But also, if you think of any guests, any ex-players, any ex-pros, or any supporters that you want us to approach to come on, then just give us a shout. So, thanks everyone for listening.
Gordon, send Morehouse to save the house.